Welcome to Fight Talk Podcast with your boy, the What's Next kid here. Today's Fight Talk is about George Kambosos. But before we start, I just want to talk about my sponsor, Montauk Iced Tea. Get yourself some Montauk Iced Tea today. It sure is hot outside, so why don't you get yourself some Montauk Iced Tea? Refreshing. Now, let's get into today's Fight Talk about George Kambosos Jr. As a young kid, he played junior rugby, but was often bullied for his weight. So his father, Kambosos Sr., enrolled him into boxing classes. At the age of 11 years old, he quickly fell in love with the sport of boxing. Kambosos' amateur record is 138 wins, only 8 defeats. He won multiple state and national titles in Australia, establishing himself as a top prospect. Kambosos started professional boxing in 2013. Kambosos won by TKO in the second round. One win later, George Kambosos fought for the Australian National Boxing Federation title. Kambosos won by TKO in the sixth round. 5 fights later, 5 wins later, Kambosos fought for the Pan Asian Boxing Association title. Kambosos won by 4th round stoppage. 3 fights later, Kambosos fought for the IBF Pan Pacific title. Kambosos won by TKO. 6 fights later, Kambosos took on Teofimo Lopez, the takeover for the IBF, WBO, and the WBA World Championship titles. Kambosos won by split decision and became the new IBF, WBO, and WBA champion of the world. Congratulations to Kambosos on being the first one to beat Teofimo Lopez. To this day, Teofimo Lopez's only loss is to George Kambosos Jr. George Kambosos' next fight, he fought Devin Haney. This fight was for undisputed. Kambosos lost by unanimous decision. Devin Haney and George Kambosos ran it back for undisputed. Kambosos lost again by unanimous decision. Kambosos' next fight, he fought for the IBO World title. Kambosos won by majority decision. Now that Kambosos put a win in the bank, it's time to go after the big fish. Kambosos went after the IBF World Championship title against Lomachenko. Kambosos lost by TKO in the 11th round. 1 fight later, Kambosos fought Richard Hickinson for the IBF World title. Kambosos lost by TKO. I went to see this fight. I didn't plan on going, but I went to the Fight Day 5K, and I got second place in my age group, and I won tickets. I won 3 of them. So at that point, you gotta go to the fights if you win tickets. So I went there, I sat there, the fights were lit. It was awesome being there at Madison Square Garden, getting to watch the main event, Richard Hickinson versus Kambosos. Sadly, Kambosos lost. I was favoring him to win on speed by unanimous decision. But anything can happen. It's boxing, and it did. Kambosos got stopped. That's all I got to say about George Kambosos Jr., a true warrior. Maybe someday in the future, I will get to interview him. I would love to interview George Kambosos. It would be awesome. It would be an amazing interview. You all would love it. Make sure tag George Kambosos down in the comments for me and him to do a big interview, and all of you would love it. And thank you to my sponsors, Montauk Iced Tea. Thank you. I love their iced tea, by the way. It's really good. It is. So it's hot out. Get yourself some Hot Talk iced tea after my runs. I like to chug one of these down. This one only has 70 calories. So get it. That's all I got to say on today's Fight Talk. The What's Next Kid